All right, Dad. So we're here for a second podcast, and we have these fancy mugs that say "My Faith Journey." And today we're actually going to talk about a very humbling journey
Right.
when you were in the States. So walk us through that if you want to give us a quick recap and just take us to that journey and walk us through the steps.
Yeah, coming from India and having some kind of a background, instead of being humble and thanking God for all His blessings on me, I think the Indian pride somehow was swelling up and coming out in my day-to-day living here in the U.S. There was a conflict, things that were we didn't do back in India, housework and removing the trash, etc. Those things were new, and this journey, my faith journey, is more a journey of God chiseling me, hammering me, breaking me, and then slowly building me up. That's the journey that has taught me, and it was a very humbling experience, and that's why we're calling this the humble or the humility episode.
Yeah. So just for the audience, take us back to where you were, how old you were back in that time, what was going on in our lives, your daily routine, and even you have a new career and you were going through some issues with churches and things like that. So just...
When we slowly started getting our feet wet and then getting used to the lifestyle, etc. Now, yes, we had all the incidents about on the hospital visits and then the law office visits. Slowly now everything seems to be falling in place. And I think in one of the episodes we talked about how Mom, she hid my passport.
Yep.
And what an experience we had. And at that particular time, we had really got our faith on a very solid foundation because of the specific date, the time when the attorney called us. We knew that we had God's anointing, His blessings on our stay here in the U.S.
Right.
So now it was time for me to look for a job. Again, pride coming in. I thought I had it all. I thought I had an advertising and marketing experience and I was great. But our greatness is nothing but filthy rags in God's sight. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to get involved with the church right here in Tuhanga Avenue, just about 8 minutes walk from here.
Right.
God works in mysterious ways. Now we have a studio here, which is 8 minutes away, where we started our life here in the U.S. And it was a Sunday. We always loved going to church on a Sunday, sometimes out of ritual, and I've learned that, we don't have to go just because we have to go. I've always said this, we want to go, we love to go, showing our gratitude and worship to God. So, right around the corner on Tuhanga Avenue, there's a church, a Pentecostal church. Now, I must say this, we went. We went to the church, and I grew up in a Baptist background. And there were certain ways we used to sing. We had some routines. We would all say, shall we all rise and sing to His praise, hymn number.
Very liturgical.
Yeah. What's the word you use?
Liturgical.
Liturgical, that's a good word.
It's the coffee.
And yeah, that's the coffee. So we went on a Sunday morning and we just met a few people, and it was a Pentecostal church. I met the pastor and some of the elders, and so the next Sunday we said we must go to a Baptist church.
Right.
And when we came here on vacation, this was in Canoga Park, we didn't have a car. And when Sunday morning, the service starts, I believe, at 9 o'clock. So by 6 o'clock we left because it's a long bus ride. And we all dressed up. And while we were on this bus going to Canoga Park, which now we know takes about half an hour to go, but with the bus ride it was about an hour and a half or two. And all of a sudden you got sick. It was too early for you. And then we're wondering. Now anyway, we went to the church, and I believe we sat right at the back. And then somehow we managed to get a hold of family. They came and they took you and Mom. You left early, and we were there. And later on, it's like God speaking to me, not audibly, but what's wrong with the church that's just around the corner? 5 minutes walk from the apartment. Now Mom and I, we had kind of a not so favorable experience with that particular denomination back in India. And that's because of Aaron's accident. And I think it was too businesslike.
Sure.
And it left a bad impression, a bad taste. So I had that kind of a hidden animosity. And I think God was teaching me, leave that animosity, because you cannot have that animosity in my presence. But even if you come with that, there's going to be a interaction, and God is going to reveal that, and so that the spirit is not really free. So we attended that church, and then we came back, and then before we knew it, we got really involved with the church. And I told the pastor, I said, listen, I don't speak in tongues. And that was, those of you who are watching, I'm speaking in tongues, Pentecostals. It is definitely one of the gifts. I'm not demeaning that. I'm not questioning that. Everyone has different gifts, and I didn't have that gift. So now the pastor and his elders, they were sizing us up because they wanted to see how we could get involved in the church. And that was a great beginning, a good genesis in terms of a relationship with the Christian community.
And you talk about how God has to break you before He builds you. So really, what's going on with the family at this point? Talk about just the challenges of the day-to-day.
Yes, getting up in the morning, still watching the O.J. Simpson trial. And, well, I was, out of boredom, I was watching that.
Right.
Now, I had to break through that routine. And then we had to get you guys into homeschooling. That was a new concept for us. Because we still wanted to find out, and Mom was not going to send you guys to a public school. She said, I don't want my children to be to face certain situations, because at that time people would come and tell us, there's been shooting in the school, etc. Mom said, hell no. So we started homeschooling, and we were in a 2-bedroom apartment. So in the morning, it was a routine, a very disciplined lifestyle. We would get up in the morning, everyone gets dressed up as if we're going to a school, and I as if I'm going to work, and Mom as if she was going to a school. So one of the bedrooms was the classroom, or one of the rooms, I mean.
Right.
And Mom had a little bell after breakfast and prayer. She would ring the bell, and now the first period starts, right? And then she would take up some subjects, and I would be doing some work, and then we would switch. I would teach some subjects. I really don't know what subjects, but there were some subjects that I taught.
Right. If the subjects were lacking in, maybe you taught us that.
Possibly. Because I wasn't a good teacher anyway. bad experience back in India. I would never, I was not destined to be a teacher. So we would have little breaks, then we would come out and then go out of the apartment just for 10 minutes, and then the bell would ring and we would get back.